Hello everyone. In this lecture, we will discuss Cayley-Hamilton theorem. The statement of this theorem is every square matrix satisfies its own characteristic equation. So how can we interpret this? Let A be a square matrix of order n. Then its characteristic equation is given by determinant A minus lambda equal to 0. Since the order of A is n, so if you solve this determinant, then in generalized way we can write this equation as a polynomial of degree n in the form of lambda. So in this way, now theorem is saying that this equation is satisfied by the matrix itself. It means in place of lambda we can write A. This is the matrix. So now this becomes matrix equation. So A0 A raised power n, A1 A raised power n minus 1 plus An I. Look at this. This is the identity matrix. So this is the theorem. Now how to prove the theorem? To prove the theorem, we will use the one important theorem of matrix relating matrix and its adjoint. So this theorem result is A into adjoint A equal to determinant of A into I. So this is the result from matrix algebra. Now we will utilize this result for A minus lambda I. So in place of A, if we write A minus lambda I, so this result become A minus lambda I into adjoint A minus lambda I equal to determinant A minus lambda I. So you have to remember this fact because this proof of this theorem is based on this result. So first we'll try to define all these things, then we'll put the values of all these things here. So just take one example. How can we write in generalized? Just like we have written determinant A minus lambda in this way. So first look at one example. So suppose A equal to this matrix. This is the order of this matrix is, this is square matrix of order 3. So A minus lambda is all the diagonal elements written in this way, 8 minus lambda, 7 minus lambda, 3 minus lambda. Okay. So the characteristic equation is determinant of A minus lambda equal to 0. So if you find this determinant, look at this. You will get this kind of characteristic equation. It means if the order is 3, then we are getting a polynomial of degree 3 in the form of lambda. So in generalized way, it means if order of A is n, then here this will be lambda raised to power n. A0 lambda raised to power n plus A1 lambda raised to power n minus 1 and up to so on. So in this way you can write. So as I have already written here, look at this. This is written in the generalized way. Now adjoint A minus lambda I. To calculate adjoint, first we calculate the cofactors. Cofactors means, suppose for example you have to calculate the cofactor of this element A11. So cofactor A11 can be written as this is minus 1 raised to power 1 plus 1. And if you just leave this first row and first column, it means leave this first row and first column, the remaining determinant is 7 minus lambda minus 4 minus 4 and 3 minus lambda. So this is the cofactor. So this is the cofactor. Now look at this. If you multiply this, this will be in the form of lambda square something. Some coefficient will be there. You can write it, suppose A0 and lambda A0 A1 lambda plus A2. So you will get this in this form. So every cofactor will be in this form. It may be possible that some of the coefficients are 0, but suppose for particular cofactor you get only this expression 3 lambda plus 4. So how can we write in this way? We can write in this 0 lambda square plus 3 lambda plus 4. It means every cofactor can be written a polynomial of degree 2 in the form of lambda. Then you can find its transpose. So this will give you the adjoint A. So look at this. Here I have written this adjoint A minus lambda in a generalized way for this matrix. These values will be, you will get these values when you actually calculate all these cofactors. Here this is a symbolic form or generalized way I have written. Now look at this. Every entry is basically a sum of these three. So look, if you look at this matrix, so this matrix can be written as a sum of three matrices, in which first matrix is all these coefficients of lambda square, second matrix coefficient of lambda, and third matrix all other coefficients. So this matrix can be written as a sum of three matrices. B0 lambda square will be common, plus b1 lambda plus b2. So we can write adjoint A minus lambda I in its simplest form, b0 lambda square plus b1 lambda plus b2, where b0 is all these coefficients of lambda square, b1 is coefficients of matrix of the coefficients of lambda, and b2 remaining. Now based on this example, so how can we write in generalized way? So a minus determinant A minus lambda you already know, we can write in this way. Now adjoint A minus lambda I, so we can write it b0 lambda n minus 1. Look at this. Here a, the order of A was 3, so adjoint A minus lambda I, this is a lambda square, means 1 power is reduced. So here if the order of A minus lambda I is n, so adjoint A minus lambda I, we will start with lambda n minus 1. So adjoint A minus lambda I can be written as b0 lambda n minus 1 plus b1 lambda n minus 2 plus up to bn minus 1. Now we know that I just already told you that we will utilize this result A minus lambda I into adjoint A minus lambda I equal to A minus lambda I. Now A minus lambda I just leave it as it is and put the value of adjoint A minus lambda I from here. So this is the value of adjoint A minus lambda I, and this is the determinant A minus lambda I. Now look at this, is 2, basically this is a left hand side is a matrix, right hand side is a matrix. So if we compare the coefficients of same power of lambda, so look at this, lambda raised to power n, first start with lambda raised to power n. Lambda raised to power, how can we get here lambda raised to power n? So if you multiply this with this one, so lambda to lambda raised to power n minus 1, this will give you lambda raised to power n. So coefficient will be minus ib 0. So this is minus ib 0. In the right hand side, this is a0 I. So this is the coefficients of lambda raised to power n. Now second lambda raised to power n minus 1, how can we get lambda raised to power n minus? It means multiply a with b0 lambda n minus 1. Here you will get lambda raised to power n 1. The first part will be a b0, and if you multiply lambda I with b1 lambda n minus 1, then again you will get lambda n minus 1. So coefficient will be I b1. So this is minus I b1. So this is the coefficient of lambda raised to power n minus 1 in left hand side. Right hand side, this is a1i. So similarly you can write all these coefficients here. Now what we have to do, look at this, all these I have written all these equations here once again. So multiply this first equation with a raised to power n, and the second equation with a raised to power n minus 1, and up to so on, and finally multiply last one with the identity matrix and add all these equations. So if you add all these equations, look at this, a raised to power, this will become a raised to power n b0, and here look at this, this will become a into a raised to power n minus 1. If you multiply a into a raised to power n minus, this will also become a raised to power n b0. Okay, so this term will cancel out first. Similarly here this term will cancel out with another term here in this third part, and all these terms will be cancelled out. So this left hand side will become 0, and the right hand side, this become this expression a0 a raised to power n plus a1 a raised to power n minus 1 plus up to an I. So this is the proof of the theorem. Now look at this, a0, the lambda is replaced by the matrix A, and this is a theorem that the characteristic equation is satisfied by the matrix itself. Now this is the matrix equation, and in place of lambda, capital A is there. So this is the proof of the theorem. So for this proof of this theorem, let's have a quick look. What we have to do, we have to start with this identity, and you have to write a minus lambda in generalized way in this way, and you have to write adjoint a minus lambda I in this way. Now I hope that you understand this. How can we write adjoint a minus lambda I? So put these values a minus lambda I and adjoint a minus lambda I here in this equation, and a minus determinant a minus lambda I here in the right side, and compare the same powers of lambda, coefficients of the same powers of lambda then you will get these equations. Multiply these equations one by one, first with a raised power n, a raised, the second a n minus 1 and up so on, last one with I, and add all these things. Then this left hand side will become 0 and the right hand side will give you the required equation. Now look at the example. Verify Cayley-Hamilton theorem for this matrix. So if you write the characteristic equation of this matrix is A minus lambda equal to 0, and this is the characteristic equation. Now we have to verify the result. So it means now we have to show that A square minus 4A minus 5pi equal to 0. So if you solve this, you find A square, this is 4A, this is 5pi. So if you find A square minus 4A minus 5pi, you see that this is 0. So 0 matrix. Basically this is, whenever we write this equation for matrix, this 0 is a 0 matrix. This is not 0 actually, this is 0 matrix. So there is A square minus 4A minus 5pi, this is a 0 matrix. Now to find the inverse of A, we can utilize Cayley-Hamilton theorem to find the inverse of A. How can we do it? Multiply this equation with A inverse. So look at this. If you multiply this with A inverse, then you will get A, and A inverse equal to I. This is 4I and 5 A inverse equal to 0. From here you can write A inverse equal to 1 by 5 A minus 4I. So solve, this is A, this is 4I. So if you solve this, you can write A inverse equal to, in this way you can find the value of A inverse. So this is the utilization of this theorem in finding A inverse. Further you can reduce a higher power of, suppose you have to calculate A cube, you can write it A square into A, and you can put A square equal to 4A plus 5I into A. So in this way you can find any power of A with the help of Cayley-Hamilton theorem. So I hope that you got the concept of Cayley-Hamilton theorem and its utilization in finding inverse and finding any power of